Hi, welcome back to another episode of Unpack That. And today I thought it'd be kind of fun to mix it up a bit because I'm such a pop basic girly. Sorry for all my pop basic people out there. I loved Olivia Rodrigo's new album. You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And I thought it'd be really fun to talk about the song Purple because at least on my For You page on TikTok, it's not really talked about a lot. So I thought it'd be fun kind of just to give my little 2 cents or perspective on it. And if you aren't an Olivia fan or this isn't your type of episode, you obviously can skip it. But I thought it would be fun to kind of like do a quick analysis on my thoughts on it. So this episode won't be super long, but also won't be super short in essence. And if you are an Olivia fan and you're new to it, then you kind of will have an idea of what I'm talking about, hopefully, and hopefully I explain it well. But also, I think it's a great album, like I said earlier, but I think her track listing was genius because half of the songs are about falling in love and kind of being in that honeymoon stage and first crush and all those feelings. But I also think there's a lot of hidden meanings in it, which I loved. And so if you do like this episode, let me know. And I love analyzing songs and kind of getting the deeper meaning on it. So if you find it fun, I can do more from her or other artists. So I thought this would be a good test run. So again, the first part of the album, the first half, is more about being in love, but also there's deeper meanings that are kind of afloat. And then the other half is realizing more self-awareness that a relationship can't fix you, even if it's perfect, quote unquote, or if it's like a great guy and it's like, oh, there's still stuff missing that I actually really need, or there's stuff I need to work on for myself because it's coming up in different ways. And so I really love the album in that aspect because I can tell she did a lot of self-reflection and growth. And I want to say, obviously, if you do or don't know, she was in a relationship prior, and then she had a breakup, and then that's how kind of this album developed. So obviously people are going to be parasocial about what happened, and I'm not going to try to be too parasocial, but I can only give like my thoughts on maybe what she's trying to say in her relationship, or also portray it to how it could be based on anybody's relationship. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out there. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see me kind of holding my phone or looking downwards because I'm reading the lyrics I wrote. And again, it won't be super long because it kind of gets to the point, but I thought this would still be fun. So the verse I wanted to talk about was, "And we fight over who I'm hanging out with like a real couple." And I thought that was interesting because it can really play into a part of, it's either my partner doesn't like my friends and I've had these friends for so long and now we're fighting about it. And I want to preface by saying, of course you should, like, if your partner does have a feeling like, oh, this person isn't a good person, then they can say it and, have an opinion, and, you should listen to them and, take it in and like self-reflect and really see like more about that person and more how you're feeling. But if this person's a friend, I should say, that's been in your life for 5, 10, even 2+ years, and you really know that person, at least in my opinion, I will hear my partner out, but I also know my judgment and like who I pick as friends, their character. And so I would kind of be annoyed by that. So I'm not really sure, like, it can be a teetering line. Like, because you want to hear your partner out, but you also have to make the decision for yourself. So I thought that was a really interesting lyric that she decided to put in because we don't know what really was said or not said. But I always think it's interesting because I did have a situation with an ex where that happened, and I was going to keep my friend and, still date him. But I was like, you can't tell me who and who not to be friends with, especially if I've been friends with her longer than I knew you. And fun fact, like, she's still in my life and he's not. And so you can kind of tell of, okay, so that makes sense then. So I really liked that lyric. And I also wanted to talk about the pre-chorus, which is, it's a small world when it can only revolve around us two. I thought that was really interesting. And there's more to the pre-chorus, but I wanted to talk about that part of the pre-chorus first. And I thought that was interesting because, again, you're in that loving honeymoon phase where it's just the two of you. But in reality, there's so much happening in the world, and there's so many more people, sadly, people's opinions or just like personal lives or friends where you kind of just have to hear and see and like deal with. And for me, when she sang that, I thought, oh, so it's just like the two of them, they're trying to make it enmeshed. And like, well, I don't want to say she tried to make it enmeshed, because I think later on I'll talk about enmeshment with them. But I think it's so engulfed and encapsulating where it's just the two of them, where it's like, okay, that's okay for a little bit. But then it's like, oh, now it's like getting too deep. And I think that's where the song goes, where it's like, oh, there's actually like too much engulfedness. And that's where I say enmeshment. I don't even think engulfedness is a word or whatever the heck I just said. But I think that's where the song is going when she talks about the two of us, how it kind of they enmesh and they have this codependency with each other. And that's when it gets unhealthy. Because I'm not saying you shouldn't like be obsessed with your partner and like love them and be there for them and all these other things. But I think there is a big difference between enmeshment and just loving your partner and being there for them. And I think this song just kind of highlights enmeshment and codependency in my eyes. And especially for the rest of the pre-chorus when she says, I had big dreams till I tied myself to you. Now I'm all consumed. And so that lyric I thought was beautiful, but also really sad, because I don't think anyone should give up their dreams, whether it being your partner telling you to give up your dreams, or you get so consumed in the relationship where you do give up your dreams. And again, we don't know which side of the coin that is, but I think regardless, like, she thought about it or she did give up her dreams or whatever, how you want to take it. But I think a lot of people do kind of give up their life and their dreams if it gets so far in the relationship, because they're just kind of engulfed in that relationship and they're happy in it, or they think they really are. But then they're like, oh, wait, I'm actually not that happy. And this isn't actually what I really want. Or this isn't actually what I really need. And however, whichever coin it did flip on for this part of the lyric, your partner should be your biggest cheerleader. And then that should make you want to even try to achieve that dream more, because you have such a big support system, like a big important person in your life to want to do that dream. And so that's why it's hard to kind of navigate, like kind of maybe what she, like at least navigate like what she means, since she's like a singer and whatever, but maybe it's something she thought. And once again, however she portrayed it to be, I think in the broader general public, a lot of people can be like, oh yeah, I kind of gave up my dream to the relationship and kind of forgot myself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is you kind of forget, a lot of people can forget themselves in relationships. And that's why I think it's so important to have individual hobbies and individual interest in doing things outside of the couple. Because of course you need to have interests and have things in common with your partner. But I think there still needs to be a lot of individuality in it as well, or else it gets too enmeshed and unhealthy. And I think that song really touches well into that. And then the outro, I'll read all of the outro and then I'll kind of break it down, my thoughts on it. So, melt with you till it all turns black. Are we so in love? Are we too attached? Melt with you till it all turns black. When you smooth it all out, but it feels too flat. Melt with you till it all turns flat. Melt with you till it all turns black. when you get so close and you can't go back, melt with you till it all turns black, melt with you till it just feels sad. And so, for one, I think it's interesting because earlier I think her colors are purple and blue, I believe. Well, obviously purple, but I think like the other color was blue. And so you don't want, I think it's a great analogy in that sense because it does make black. And, blue is kind of representing of sadness because, oh, I feel so blue today. And it's genius on her part because purple is kind of her signature color. And you never want anything to turn, like any relationship or friendship to turn black because it just seems bad. Like black is not a good color in the essence of color wheel. And so I think that was it was really smart on her part how she did that. And when she says, are we so in love? Are we too attached? And again, that goes into the enmeshment part of, oh, we're like too attached. We're doing too many things together. Now I'm kind of like maybe codependent on you. And now this isn't kind of what I wanted. And this isn't really healthy anymore. It's kind of waking up to that awareness. And then she has this kind of repetitive lyric. And then she says, when you smooth it out, but it feels too flat. And I think that's an interesting lyric because if you're in an argument or a disagreement with your partner and then you kind of smooth it out, but maybe you don't feel like the other person's really hearing you or just felt kind of like quote unquote too easy. And everything shouldn't feel hard if you're with someone who really hears and listens with you. But I think when she says when she says it feels too flat, I think it was so maybe complicit or compliancy in that sense of they were listening. They're like, got it. Cool. Let's move on. That's how I take it. I would love to hear your guys' take on it because I could be wrong and I would love to hear different perspectives. And again, all my perspectives can be wrong, of course, because they're just my perspectives. So I would love to hear your guys's. But I think I'm pretty close to kind of what she was meaning to say in the song. And then she says in the rest of the outro, when you get so close and you can't go back. And I think that's interesting too, in the sense of we're so deep in this enmeshment and this love. And a part of the lyrics I didn't read where she kind of says like, now there's another toothbrush in the house. And now we're like living in the essence of, oh, now we're living together. We're doing life together. And now it's like, oh, are we too far deep? Like, is there nothing that can change? Like, is there nothing that can change in me to make me feel better? Or you to feel better? Or neither one of us can give each other anything else? And I think it goes back to the comfortability of all of it, just feeling like, oh, I'm comfortable with this person, but I don't know if I'm in love with them anymore. And that's like also a really hard thing to navigate and to figure out with yourself. Because I think she also mentions throughout the album how she really was in love with him. But I think there was so much behind the scenes that like she had to deal with herself. And when I mean behind the scenes, obviously because we didn't see it, but more in the sense for herself, like a lot of self-reflection she didn't realize that she needed to work on for herself, and maybe he did for himself. And they were good for each other when they needed it. But I think in the long run, it just kind of, at least for her, it brought up more insecurities in herself and more of her traumas that she wasn't aware that it would. I really like that lyric because it shows how hard it is to leave someone when you love them so much. And there's nothing super toxic, but knowing that they're not the right fit. And I think that's so hard. And then I think on top of that, it's even harder when you have this enmeshment and codependency on top of it. And then she repeats the same lyric about till it all turns black. And then she ends with melt with you till it just feels sad. And I think that also blends into, I'll keep doing this life. Like I can keep playing this part, but I'm actually just really sad. And no one should feel sad, and no one should feel sad in their relationship. And so I'm really glad she wrote that song, because I think it's for everyone out there, again, general public, because it is a song, but it's also for people who maybe don't realize that there is this weird enmeshment, codependency, or losing themselves. Because I think, again, this song kind of shows how she kind of lost herself a little bit. And now she's kind of just blending in, like turning into everything that, like, not even everything he wanted her to be, but more just blending in and just living a life that she was okay not to fully live her potential. And I think that can go for a lot of people, of not fully doing their potential or living their dreams, or and I say that sadly, because I think a lot of people aren't aware. So I really like this song because I think it can be for anybody who's doing a lot of self-reflection on themselves and kind of seeing, like, am I too enmeshed? Am I having too much codependency? And also, am I losing myself a little bit? And I think that's the most important part of the song, of realizing, like, am I still true to myself? Am I still living my dreams and doing my things and not forgetting who I am? Because once again, your partner would be uplifting and supporting, and whether they are and you're not doing it, that's a different factor. And also, if they aren't being supportive, and that plays a part in it as well. Again, everyone's different, but I would want you to also know that I also would want you to know, like, you can do what's best for you, and you can do all your dreams if you really want to fulfill and live to the highest that you want to. And I think that's kind of always been my main goal throughout this whole podcast, is wanting people to feel like they can reach their potential and feel safe and feel heard. And so, of course, I'm going to kind of put it at the end of this episode as well. And so that's my take on the song. I'm really excited to know your guys' thoughts. And I know I kind of cherry picked certain, like, choruses or phrases, or like the outro, but those are the ones that really stood out to me. I would love to know your thoughts. And again, even if you guys do like it or not, I might do it again because it was kind of fun. And this one is my first one, so it might be a little kind of fast paced, but especially since I didn't do the whole song. But yeah, I really hope you liked the song. Well, I really hope you enjoyed me analyzing the song a little bit, and I really hope you enjoyed the episode. And let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.